Hey Internet, Eric here. Welcome to Shocktober, 13 days of Halloween. I did a little promo video a couple days ago, but I'll explain it here one more time in this video. What it is for the next 13 days, I'm going to try to do one video per day up until the 31st, just discussing a horror film. It could be a horror comedy, it could be, straight up horror, slasher, fan film, anything. Maybe a movie that has some horror elements in it, but more so like you would watch during the Halloween season, and try to do it from the 19th through the 31st. My first entry into Shocktober is a film that I watched as a kid and I still love to this day. Spoilers. So it's going to be a positive review. Some of these videos that I'm going to do first time watches as well. Not today. Today I'm talking The Monster Squad. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I discuss plot, spoilers, specific scenes, what have you. This came out in 1987. Basic plot of this is it's like the Goonies versus the Universal Monsters. Dracula is in town. He is trying to get an amulet that will help him take over the world, I guess you would say. The easiest way to say it. And this group of kids who love horror films get together and try to stop him, along with help from the Frankenstein monster, and try to stop Dracula, the Gill Man, which is the creature from the Black Lagoon, the Mummy, and a tortured, I guess you would say, Wolfman. Oh man, as I said, I love this movie. I watched it as a kid for the first time, and I watched it for the first time as a kid, and it was one of those word of mouth movies. Friends didn't discuss it unless it somehow came up in talking, and I've loved it ever since. Written by, is it Shane Black? Yeah, written by Shane Black and Fred Dekker. Fred Dekker directed Night of the Creeps. Shane Black has written, and he was in Predator, but he also wrote Lethal Weapon, Last Boy Scout, that type of stuff. The kids in this are actually really good for what they have to do. And if you know me, you know I really hate kid actors. Not here. Andre Gower, who plays Sean, he's the leader. He's fine. He does what he needs to do. He needs to be tough when he needs to be tough. He's not too overbearing when they give him those stupid one-line quips. But he's there to lead the group. He is a good leader. He has some charisma. He's very likable. You got Patrick, who is just there to be the sidekick. He's fine. You got Horace, the fat kid, who needs to be the fat kid, and who is always picked on, even by his friends. And that's one thing about this film. Like when this came out, that's how kids, when I grew up, I was the fat kid. Friends picked on you. Even if you were picked on by bullies, which we have a great scene where Jason Harvey from the Wonder Years picks on Horace, and Horace is rescued by Rudy. That's how it was in the 80s. Okay, if you were fat, you were picked on and teased by schoolmates and your friends. Deal with it. And that was shown perfectly here. Phoebe, the younger sister, is fine. Rudy, the tough kid, he's the tough kid because he smokes and wears a leather jacket. He's got his hero moments. All these kids put together are likable. They got great chemistry. The adults are fine. For the non-monsters are great. Whoever the dad is really good as the police officer trying to figure out what the hell is going on. The mom, who is she's in all of anything Shane Black related or Richard Donner related. She was also the mom in the Goonies. She's in all the Lethal Weapon films. You watch her, you see her, you know who she is. Is her name in this? No. But it was like Mary Elizabeth or Mary Stewart or something like that. 3 names together. She's great. And then you literally have a character called the Scary German Guy. And it's what the kids call him. They don't know his name. You never learn his name. But you find out he is a Holocaust survivor. And eventually the kids come across Abraham Van Helsing's diary. They need someone to translate it because it's in German. Who do they go to? The Scary German Guy. And you find out he's a very sympathetic character. He's very into wanting to help these kids stop the end of the world. So he fits in well, chemistry-wise, with these kids. So it's great. Now let's talk about the creatures. First off, let's get it out of the way. Duncan Rager is my favorite portrayal of Dracula on film. Better than Lugosi, I don't care. Lugosi is good, but he's not Duncan Rager. I've never seen Christopher Lee, so can't compare. Anything else, he's better than Gary Oldman. He's great because he's got a very low key malevolence to him. You know, he is willing to kill anyone and everything in his way to get to this amulet, including children. He is willing to blow up their clubhouse, whether they're in it or not, with fucking dynamite. He doesn't care who stands in his way. One of the best scenes is it's in the climax of the film, and they're trying to read from the diary to get the amulet to open up this gigantic, like, I guess you would say, like, they call it a giant whirlwind, you know, as the scary German guy would say, and it sucks everything evil into basically limbo. There's a scene where young Phoebe has the amulet, and Duncan grabs her. He literally grabs her by the face and lifts her up. He says, "Give me the amulet, you bitch." And he hisses at her, and that little girl, like, just, she's so terrified of this, because apparently that was the first time she had ever seen him in the fangs, and it was a total surprise. So her reaction was legitimate. So you can see her, like, shaking, like, in the background. It's really terrifying. But this Dracula doesn't care, and that's why I love him. He's not over the top. He's not a parody of Lugosi. He is really, really good. Tom Noonan is as the Frankenstein monster who becomes, like, part of the group. Very sympathetic. I love the look of all these creatures. You know, that's all you really see on the front is just those three. But I love the look of the Wolf Man. You know, when he's a werewolf, he's evil. When he is a man, when he is a human, he knows that he is dangerous. Like, when we first see him, he's in a police station wanting to be locked up. He's shooting, you know, at the guards, you know, to say, "Lock me up, I'm dangerous," this type of stuff. And that's an ongoing, like, tortured scenario with him. Like, there are times when Dracula will capture him and keep him drugged up so he can do his bidding. And, like, he'll spit out the pills when Dracula's not looking, and, like, try to run away and warn the kids. But back to Tom Noonan, he, again, gives this sympathetic portrayal of the Frankenstein monster. Strikes up a friendship with Phoebe, and you buy it. You know, it's 1987 or whenever I said this came out. 87. So you buy that cheese. You know, it's sweet. It's sweet. It's downright lovable the way that they work with each other. Yeah, it's great. And then you got the creature from Black Lagoon, one of the best, I think, looks of him ever. Mummy is terrifying. So the monsters are great. You have cheesy 80s soundtrack, which happens in every 80s film. That's great. I love how this movie starts. It starts off in the days of Van Helsing. You have this gigantic crawl or scroll or whatever you would say, kind of like, you know, Star Wars would have, you know, the words going through up the screen, and talks about how Van Helsing was going to Castle Dracula basically to stop it, and then it ends with saying they blew it. And it's just great opening, this dark scene. You know, you have like a female vampire, like, eating a possum and blood and people getting staked and this and that, and you have, you know, skeletons coming out of the ground and grabbing people. It's truly terrifying at some scenes. And then you have this actor who's playing Van Helsing yelling at this little girl who's trying to read the scroll to get the amulet to work, and he's screaming, like, "Read it or we're all gonna die." It's this intense moment in this, like, little kids film. It's PG-13, but still, you have a lot of dark undertones. You have a lot of adult themes. Like, Rudy likes to peep on Patrick's sister, and he holds her ransom because they find out they need a virgin to read the scroll. Well, they blackmail her because he was peeping at her through the window, took some nudie photos of her, and he said, "Well, basically, you're going to read this for us, or, you know, we're going to put this up, you know, on the poster board at school." So you got those adult themes that you can't have nowadays. You know, you have people calling kids so many names, but that's how kids were in the 80s. You know, it's good to kind of see that in a film. I don't care what anyone says. But yeah, so much fun. Likable characters. For kids, some of the best designs. Like, this was Stan Winston. Some of the best designs on monsters, the Universal monsters that you've seen. I wish there was a picture of. They don't have it. I wish there. Well, maybe a little bit. I was gonna say pictures of the monsters that aren't here, but here. So we got Dracula. I mean, the Mummy looks awesome. Frankenstein monster. Werewolf. That Gill Man, creature from the Black Lagoon, looks fucking awesome. Love it. So you got great monster designs. You got great chemistry with the kids. The adults are fine. You got some dark stuff. You got some violence. This is a perfect movie. I mean, it basically, a lot of people say the Goonies versus Universal Monsters. It's more like the Little Rascals because you got the little dog in it. But highly, highly recommend this movie. If you love 80s films, like 80s kids films, you know, group of kids doing something. If you like 80s monster movies, if you like the Universal monsters, highly, highly recommend The Monster Squad. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, all that crap that I always say. Comment below what you think of The Monster Squad. If you like it, you hate it, never heard of it, want to give it a shot. Don't know what else to say other than thank you for joining me for Shocktober. I'm going to do my damnedest to get these 13 videos out. It's probably going to kill me, but you know what? Fuck it. Something to do, right? Cheers.